What's up? I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. I travel all around the world to popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it was like to be there. Of course, at the moment, things are kind of difficult, but I have managed to be on 5 or 6 cruise ships in the last half a year, and today we're going to be talking all about some fantastic cruise food that I was served on my most recent cruise on the German brand of Carnival Cruise Lines called AIDA, and I was on one of their bigger flagship ships, the AIDAperla, and the food was amazing.
I don't wanna slow down, I don't wanna slow down, I don't wanna slow down till I burn out.
As you've seen in the title and in the description, this is going to focus on the vegetarian food. So if meat is super important to you and you're not gonna be happy by watching a video that shows no meat, then don't watch this video, go watch another video. I'm showing desserts here too, and typically there isn't meat in desserts, but I recently learned from a comment that some people are just really focused on the meat, and if no meat is shown, then the review is useless for them. And it kind of made me think, I can understand if people really want to see stuff that's not vegetarian, but then I thought, do people really sit down at the table and look at the menu and think, oh, that appetizer sounds really good, but there's no meat in it. I'm gonna order that one. It doesn't sound as good, but at least there's beef in it. Or, like desserts too. There's no meat in desserts. Oh my gosh, please don't tell me people are putting meat in desserts now. Although there are, like bacon covered donuts, right? But yeah, this comment just made me think about, maybe it seems extreme to some people that I don't eat meat, but at the same time, it seems extreme to me that there are people who apparently only eat meat or things with meat in it. I have no problem with people eating meat. I think humans should eat meat. I just don't like to do it, and I don't preach to anybody about it. I just live my life in a happy vegetarian way, and yeah, apparently some people find that a disability. So onto the food. I'm gonna show you 6 of the favorite, like the tastiest, best things I was served on this ship. All of them were included in the price of the cruise, and then I also saved 2 things that were just, compared to the quality of everything else, at a much lower standard. And the first thing I want to show you is these amazing tapas that I had 2 or 3 times on the cruise. By the way, as you're looking at these things and, maybe your mouth is watering and you're thinking more and more about how great this ship looked and how great the food is, so many of you have been asking me if non-German speakers could cruise with AIDA, and the answer is yes. I talked with somebody at AIDA and they said they do have non-German speakers on board all the time. Of course, it is mostly German speakers, and most of the announcements on board are in German. If there's anything that has to do with safety, it will be done in German and English. And things like, trivia and bingo, if they're offered, that will be in German. But the shows, the music is usually English. If they're doing a rock and roll show with songs from Queen and Phil Collins and whoever, they're gonna be singing the English version that, everybody knows and loves. The excursions will probably most likely also be in German, but not always. It depends on where they're cruising to, of course. So if I tried to show just how gorgeous this ship was, and I want to show you now some of the great food. And if you are interested in cruising with AIDA, you can totally do it. Just want to let you know once and for all, because like I said, so many people have been asking me that. So these tapas, I'm looking over here because I have my screen down here to remind me what it was I had, were so good. And it was like a traditional tapas menu with, things like olives and sardines and the spicy meatballs. I can't think of the Spanish names for them all right now, but like queso manchego, and it was just really good. And like I said, included in the price of the cruise. I could have sat there all night ordering as many tapas as I want, and it didn't cost me extra. And I know I went at least 2 times, and maybe even 3 times. We're gonna move on now to one of the desserts that I had, and oh my gosh.
This was so good.
This is a chocolate brownie cheesecake, and cheesecake isn't something that I normally have on my radar, even though I love cheese. I don't know why, it's just not, I don't know, it's not something I think about, it's not something I've ever made. But this cheesecake was, I don't even have words for it. Like, do you see at the bottom? That's like a thick, juicy brownie. And then on top of it is a whole layer of cheesecake. And then it came with, you know, like a, I don't know, like a caramely sesame seed, like wafer. On top of it, there was a chocolate straw. And then it even came with a mini macaron. I don't know how to say that. I don't think I've ever had one before. I had it here. Remember, this is buffet food on AIDA. At the moment, at least on the cruise I just did, there was no buffet service. You had to order from a menu, but this is what was being served in the buffet restaurants, and I've never had food of this quality, like consistently this quality, I think, on any ship other than the Disney Dream, and pluses and minuses on both cruise lines, but this was amazing. And now we're gonna move on to another dessert. This one I have to translate the name into English. It's called a slice of Tyrol, and Tyrol is, I thought it was an area in Germany. It's not, it's in Austria and Italy, but it's very close to the German border, so forgive my lack of geographical knowledge. And I think that I got this on the night that I also had something else we're gonna talk about here, and I was already so stuffed that they ask you to order everything at one time. So you say, okay, I want my appetizer this, I want my main this, and I want my dessert this, and I ordered it all together. But if I hadn't had ordered dessert already, and then after I finished the main course, there is no way I would have ordered dessert because I was already so full. But I had already ordered it, and they brought it, and this showed up, and I thought, I'm just gonna have a bite. No, this was so good. And look at all the layers. You know, when you look at the cake layers, the cake was kind of crumbly. That doesn't mean it was dry, but it wasn't like that really moist kind of cake. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. I want to say almost like a wetter cornbread type consistency. But that was totally okay because there were so many layers of other stuff in there. You can see there's like layers of some kind of jelly, and then some kind of ganache, and then if we're moving up from the bottom, then that layer that's sort of in the middle, I think that was like one kind of, I don't know, buttercream or something. Then there's another layer of cake, and then on top another layer of, I think, another kind of buttercream, and on top of that buttercream, there's some chocolate. And yeah, I remember saying in the daily vlog that really put me over the edge. Whew. That slice of Tyrol kind of put me over the edge. When I was sitting there after finishing it, I was like, I don't think I can get up. I had that like super stuffed feeling that, you know, you usually get on a cruise. And I had finally achieved it. So that was definitely one of those nights. And another thing that makes me laugh when I look at these pictures, or this picture, is the skid marks on the plate. You know, it really makes my day, and it really like makes me smile and makes my life a happier place when we sort of together come up with these like insider jokes that only people who are always following on Facebook and who watch, you know, all or most of the videos, you know, kind of get. And so if you look at the chocolate stripes on this plate, we started calling those skid marks, you know, like
when you get a little mark on the back of your underwears.
And yeah, on another dessert, one that didn't make this list, but was also very good. Somebody mentioned, oh my gosh, what are they doing with that chocolate? It looks like a skid mark. And yeah, so here's double skid marks, and with some kind of cookie crumbles or something. And yeah, it was just so good. By the way, I'm thinking back to the cheesecake again, and I wanted to ask you all, if any of you have like a no-fail, super easy cheesecake recipe, please send it my way. What I don't mean is like, don't Google a cheesecake recipe and send it to me. I mean, of course I can do that, but what I would like to know is if you're somebody who like has very often baked cheesecake and you always use this one recipe, please send it my way. And bonus points if it's one that you don't need like 24 egg yolks in. But I know that most cheesecakes do have a lot of egg yolks, right? All right, moving on to something that I think, like I said, I had on the night of the slice of tea roll that already made me very full because it was so good, and that was this amazing lasagna. This was another dish that when I dug into it, I just realized how high the quality was on this ship and what a good job the cooks are doing, because when you're cooking for, masses of people, one thing that's really hard to get right, I think, is any kind of pasta, because pasta should be sort of al dente, meaning the noodles shouldn't be like totally soft, and it should be warm throughout. And that's really hard when you're making like a big batch of something to serve a lot of people. When do you stop cooking it originally? And when do you start reheating it? You know what I mean? And this lasagna was amazing. The noodles in the middle were al dente. It was warm throughout. I felt like it seemed like they had just made it for me. And I mean, of course, I know they didn't, but it was so good. And another thing that I really appreciated about it, and you'll know this if you if you followed me on Facebook or watched the daily vlogs, that a lot of the really great vegetarian stuff was really cheesy and made with a lot of cream. And of course, if you put a lot of cheese and cream on just about anything, it's gonna taste fantastic. But like, it also gets really heavy, and heavy in like a dairy way. I don't know how to explain it. I love it, but I also have my limits. And so I was so happy to get served this lasagna because it wasn't cheesy and creamy. I'm sure there was cheese in there, but it was so good. And you can see, I want to show you my plate here. I totally destroyed it. I probably would have licked the plate if I was at home, but I decided not to. But isn't licking the plate like a really big compliment to the chef? Yeah, well, I didn't do it, but let's move on now to two of the things that just did not make the cut, that I felt like were sort of under the quality that most of the stuff was, which is totally forgivable. But I just thought I'd show you two things that I didn't think were so good, and we're gonna do that right after this short commercial break. Good news, everybody. More and more people have been writing that they have gotten ads, and some people say that they've gotten 2 ads, and that is so great. That means that advertisers are once again interested in spending their money on advertising on travel videos, and that's a good sign in so many ways, but it's really great for me and other travel vloggers too. So if you got an ad, please let me know in the comments below. And another thing, somebody recently wrote to me to say that compared to so many other vloggers or YouTubers, that I very rarely talk about my merchandise and the extra things that I offer and programs that I have or whatever. And I thought, yeah, you're right. I feel uncomfortable doing it, and I don't want to turn people off, you know what I mean? But I just thought I'd take the moment then to mention again, before we get to these not so great things to eat, that there's a couple ways that you can help support this channel. One is just by always watching the videos, commenting, pressing thumbs up. Another one is going to patreon.com/veryunofficial. That's a way to support the channel, and I make videos and content there that you can't see anyplace else, or I upload the videos earlier there so you can see them before everybody else. And there's a video going up there in maybe already or coming up very soon, where I'm gonna tell you about a strange thing that happened with our Grandiosa booking. I'm not quite sure what to think of it, so if you want to see that, patreon.com/veryunofficial. And then if you shop at Amazon, especially if you shop regularly at Amazon, you can go to my Amazon store. It's linked in the description. And anything you buy after you follow the link to my Amazon store, even if it's not in the store, will help me out, because I get a small percentage for qualified purchases, even if it's not something in the store. It's just an easy way to help me out. You don't pay anything extra, and I get the credit for driving traffic to Amazon. And I know I see some things in there that are ordered over and over again, and it just makes me really happy because I know some of you are doing it, and if more people would do it, That's even more help. Like I said, I can't see who orders what, I just see what has been ordered. All right, thank you for listening to that. And now let's move on to some of the not so great food. And the first thing I want to show you is this weird veggie burger. You know, veggie burger technology has gotten so much better over the years. I think the first place I ever had a veggie burger was at a restaurant called The Good Earth in Minnesota, one of the first like truly vegetarian and vegan restaurants, I think, to ever be created. I don't know, where are my Midwest people out there? Does The Good Earth still exist? Is it even good? I don't remember, but I know that was the first place that I was ever offered a veggie burger. And you know, nowadays the Impossible Burgers, they're so good, and that's like the perfect thing. Like when I go to a restaurant and they're offering a veggie burger option, if it's like an Impossible Burger, that's what I'm getting, or something made with like black beans and rice or something. I love that kind of veggie burger. This kind of veggie burger is not what I like. What it is it's sort of like a veggie fritter. So it's some kind of batter, and they've put like peas and chopped up carrots in there, and then it's, yeah, breaded and deep fried. And it's not the first time I've been offered something like this. I'm sure it's not the last time, and it just was not good. Who in any situation wants to eat a bland, deep fried veggie, like pea and carrot fritter? That, you know, that just doesn't sound good to me, and I can't imagine who that really sounds good to. And then, you know, couple that, like I said, it being deep fried and then having the French fries with it, and it was just like, heartburn, here we come. And so I didn't even eat half of it. And here's one thing that happened to me actually twice on this cruise, and it happened with one of the other things I'm gonna show you here. And that is that after I, you know, said I'm finished and the server took it away, somebody immediately came out from the kitchen to ask me what was wrong, you know, why I wasn't happy with this food. Isn't that an amazing level of service, that just by observing what comes back to the kitchen and seeing if somebody didn't eat something, coming out to ask, is everything okay? You know, were you not happy with it? Are you not feeling okay? Just, you know, taking care of the passengers. I thought that was amazing. And I think it was the restaurant manager, I think that's what she was. I told her, this is just not what I was expecting from a veggie burger. And she explained to me that they usually serve a different kind of veggie burger, but the supply didn't come, they didn't get the delivery. And so before they don't serve anything, they decided to serve this. And I thought, yeah, you know, that's okay, but definitely could do better than this. You know what I mean? So now we're gonna move on to the next thing that I just thought was not at the same level. That was these gnocchi with pepperoncini sauce. So, you know, pepperoncinis are these like small green pepperonis that you get in like a Greek salad, or often, you know, at Italian restaurants. Sometimes they taste almost sweet. Sometimes they're surprisingly spicy in a different way than like jalapenos are. And sometimes they're very sour, like very bitter and acidy. And unfortunately, I feel like the shipment that they used to make the sauce for these gnocchi were the really bitter, acidy kind. Because it's not that the gnocchi weren't, you know, prepared well, but when you just compare the presentation of this with the shredded cabbage on top of it and the 2 or 3 little pieces of roasted red pepper or whatever that was, it didn't look at the same level as the other things I was served, and it just was so bitter. It did not taste good. And this is a thing, like, you know, I was also served something that had a lot of mushrooms in it, and, you know, I don't like to eat mushrooms, and that's another thing I didn't eat most of. But I wanna say, for people who do like mushrooms, I'm sure they thought this was fantastic. But this dish, I don't know, I can't imagine that anybody would like to eat that. It just was so bitter. It was like gnocchi in, I don't know how to compare it. Sort of like a spicy pickle juice, but then more bitter. Have I said bitter enough? It was very bitter. Have I made that clear? So this is another thing that I did not eat. I did not finish this, and also somebody came out from the kitchen to ask me what was wrong, and I explained to them, I think it's exactly what it said on the menu, but after I tasted it, I realized, okay.
That's not what I want.
And I don't remember then what I ended up eating after that, but I did not eat this. Okay, the final thing I want to show you is probably one of the favorite dishes I had on this cruise. And I mean, it's hard because there were so many really great things, but this was the spaghetti
Spaghetti aglio e olio.
What it is it's a very basic, very standard Italian dish. It's spaghetti, olive oil, lots of garlic, some hot chili flakes, parsley, and grated cheese. I mean, sounds very simple, but I don't know what it was about this. It was just so good. And look at the presentation. It looks fantastic. And I think this is what I was served on the last night. And I talked about it in the daily vlog that the server was like, I want to do something special for you. I want to make it extra spicy. When I say it like that, it sounds kind of flirty, doesn't it? He wasn't flirty, but he was very excited to offer to make it
extra spicy.
And I was like, yeah, make it extra spicy. And then when it came, it was really spicy, but it was just so good. I don't know. I mean, this is one of those things that I feel like if I had the same ingredients, I could definitely recreate this at home. And I have tried making versions of this before, but this is gonna be the version now that the next time I make it, I'm gonna try to make it like this. The presentation was good, the taste was good, it was spicy.
Spicy.
And of course, you know, no meat in it. I'm sure it would be much better with some shrimps dripping in garlic butter or something. That would go perfect with this. But yeah, I loved it, and I was so happy to have been served this. And this was, like I said, buffet food on AIDA Cruise Lines. And if that's the level of food that they're serving right now, I definitely want to go back. And I'm hoping I will be going back. It won't be until mid-July or maybe later if I do, but a friend of mine is going to be going on an AIDA ship as a guest artist with her solo program. And so the next time I'm on board is hopefully gonna be when she's on board, and they're in negotiations right now. So just keep coming back and you'll find out when that's gonna be. Are you hungry now? If you are and you've watched to the end, the secret word is hungry. In fact, write hungry like 3 times. Hungry, hungry, hungry. Then I'll know you watched till the end. I hope to see you in a couple days for Sunday Sofa Time if you're watching this on Friday, and if you're watching this sometime in the future, then hey, thanks for coming. Speaking of the red sofa, this week's Sunday Sofa Time coming up in just a few days, I'm gonna do a live chat again, so I look forward to sitting down in front of the sofa with you again. It's been a while since we've done that. Check Facebook and the Very Unofficial Travel Guides channel for the link. I'll be posting that sometime very soon. I'm gonna be talking more about our upcoming Grandiosa cruise, also telling you something that happened on the AIDAperla on the last morning that was super stressful and really should have been handled better if you ask me, and answering any questions you have. So look forward to seeing you there. See you soon.